You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.
Feels good, when a team gives you more respect and plays a little harder or stuff like that. But no, we're just worried about us. It's not like we won the championship last year, so we're going to keep grinding, keep going through kinks and find a way to get to the championship.
Hello and welcome back. You are listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole, and it has been a long time. My name is Cole Smith, and I'm joined, as always, by my partner, Joshua Owen Grismer. That is your middle name, right? I feel like I always... Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool.
It is my middle name.
We got that right. You guys can always find us on social media. Me at Cole Smitty Smith. Him at I'm Joshua Owen. No, not me. Him. He is at I'm Joshua Owen. And guys, it is awesome to welcome you back to our show. Josh, we're finally back into this thing. It's been a while. We've had our own things going on, a lot of high school football.
Yeah.
We're very blessed to have everything that's going on right now, to have some sports to talk about, and we have pro sports to talk about, and one of those things is the Denver Nuggets coming back and restarting their season. The NHL is still a little bit ways away. They're thinking maybe mid-January start, Josh?
Yeah, they're thinking mid-January, and that's the thing that the NHLPA kind of came together and talked about today, actually. And it's nothing is even close to being set in stone yet, but they're gearing up for something that hopefully will lead to a mid-January start and not another NHL lockout, which would be the absolute worst thing for the league right now.
Well, see, and the NBA, they're shooting for before Christmas to actually get things rolling.
Like December 23rd, I think, right?
so.
Yeah.
And then preseason obviously is starting within the next couple of weeks here in early December. But this offseason's way too short, it seems like, because obviously these seasons postponed everything. They didn't want to cancel.
Yep.
And this was even something we talked about earlier on. Would they have rather have canceled to start everything on time? Because let's face it, as we're doing this podcast, we would have sports going on, hockey, basketball, and football.
Yep.
Everything would somewhat be back to normal. Obviously, we'd still be in our lockdown situation, of course, but we would have all of our sports going on. Sacrifice that to finish last season. Do you think that was worth it, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there was a Stanley Cup and an NBA Finals trophy handed out at the end of the day.
No matter what, at least
no matter what,
somebody.
we got to see that. But also, and for that matter, they finished the MLB season as well. So, but for me, how much time do you actually need? I mean, because when you finish a game, when LeBron James finished the Stanley, or not the Stanley Cup, the NBA Finals, and sits down, relaxes, they do the parade, they do all this stuff. Do you need more than let's say a full month? Do you need more than a full month for your body to recoup?
Well, see, to me,
because then they do they go on their trips to Cabo or wherever they go. You don't need that.
Like they're doing their vacation things.
I'm sorry you couldn't go to Cancun this offseason, LeBron. Like, you don't need that. All you really need is, I'd say, a good solid month to really let your body recoup. And I understand there's going to be players with surgeries and stuff like that. Yes, you need a little bit more time. But other than that,
but
you don't
to me,
need
that's
the
thing.
full off season.
Well, to me, that's the thing. Like, not everybody is LeBron. Not everybody keeps their body at that kind of physical peakness.
No, but these guys are professional athletes.
And
they all have similar body types.
Well, no, and I totally understand that. Like Jamal Murray, he's still a professional athlete.
Absolutely.
He still has to go out there. He still has to produce. But I still kind of feel for the guy when he's coming back and he's talking in his press conferences and he's saying, I want to be back in Canada. I was hanging out with my family. I was teaching my little brother some hoops. Teaching him what it takes to get to this level. That's exactly what he said. He wants to help his family, and I totally understand that family time, especially coming out of a bubble to where you were literally taken away from your family for, what was it, 2-3 months?
Yeah,
I mean for the Nuggets,
they kept
like extending it.
Yeah.
And they had to keep fighting that pressure. Like, they were down 3-1 in back-to-back series.
And that is mentally exhausting.
That's totally exhausting.
Yeah.
So I just think there's that aspect that the players need a little bit more time to rest, because I do feel for them a little bit when that you take away that family time in the offseason. Now, I totally understand their bodies. Yeah, go out there, rip it up, play basketball. I don't think that's going to be an issue for the Denver Nuggets. I don't think that'll be an issue for the Colorado Avalanche.
No.
But I do think there's still that mental aspect of getting back out there just right where you left off. And honestly, where you kind of just took another, 2-month break like you did last time. It's almost like you're getting just constant seasons, just with little breaks in between anymore.
But I also think when it comes to humans, I mean, we've proven this over the history of humanity, enough is never enough for us. So you can have 6 months of a break, or you can have 2.5, 3 months of a break. You're still going to miss your family regardless. So I understand, like, I get it. When I'm away from my family for extended amounts of time, yeah, it sucks. I miss them and I want to see them again. I'm also not getting paid millions of dollars to do anything. So, and again, I'm not saying money makes happiness or anything. I understand they're human. I understand that there's a human aspect to leaving your family for months on end, and it sucks. But that's like what you sign up for. Like when you're in the NBA, whether you're not in a bubble or not, these guys come from all over the world. You don't think that Nikola misses his family as well? Yeah,
no.
absolutely.
Well, and hey, Nikola Jokic, he just got married.
Yeah,
like I'm sure that dude would love to spend a lot more time. Yeah, I'm sure he would love to go on a honeymoon right now.
Yeah, I totally get that. But then again, it's also like you did sign up for this. This is your job. It's your profession. There comes a point in time where you do have to, and I'm not trying to be harsh or mean, but you do have to kind of get over that. This is your job. This is what you signed up. This is what you've spent your entire livelihood getting to. You're now at the top of your life. You're at the peak of your career. You can't get any higher than the NBA. So for all these guys that kind of sound down or whatever, I get it. I understand. I would miss my family as well. Mm-hmm. But this is also what you signed up for. So I feel for him, and I know that there's a human aspect to this, but I'm also like, you guys should already be in season anyway. So let's kind of get this thing going. Let's get this thing underway.
I totally understand that. And it's not like these guys haven't been practicing their craft. Like Jamal Murray said, he's been practicing with his little brother. I'm sure that's a big difference.
Practicing with your little brother.
No, and I totally get that. Like I'm not comparing it to like LaMelo Ball practicing with his brothers or anything like that. But he's still been training for this sort of thing. And I guess just what really is boggling my mind at this point, how much of what we're seeing changed around the NBA and around the NHL, how much of this is going to stay the same? Because let's face it, the NBA has been eyeing a Christmas Day start to their season for a while. They've eyed the shortening of a season for a while. They get to kind of practice with that idea a little bit. They've already shortened the season. It's gone from 82 to 73?
That's what they're aiming for.
I'm
not sure if that's
70-ish
set in
games.
stone. It might be, but yeah. No, that's something that they're aiming for. But I agree. I think, to your point, this is the year of all the years to kind of start setting those new ideas, I guess, that they want in stone. Hey, let's try a season that starts right, during Christmas or things like that. I think that's actually something that could really help them, and then have their finals go to July. So we're not just watching the MLB in July. I think that's what the NHLPA came out, not to change subjects completely, but today they want to start mid-January and have their finals go till July. I would love that. Although it was in the bubble and I would have given anything to be at the Nuggets and Avs games. Yeah. If we can have an NBA, because I'm still expecting the Nuggets and the Avs to make deep pushes into the playoffs. So
they better.
So when I'm hearing these talks in works of, hey, NBA finish late July, NHL finish mid-July, sign me up. Sign me up for that. I love it. And as much as I love baseball, I grew up playing baseball my whole life. As much as I love baseball, it sucks. I mean, it does suck when I'm just watching baseball from mid-June to mid-August, because that's when the NFL, preseason games usually start. So seeing that, I'm all for that. I have absolutely no qualms with that. But, it's something that I think the NBA and NHL especially could really start trying to do, is trying to make their mark on different areas of the season. Whereas the early parts of August through December is dominated by the NFL. That's just let's face it. Like even the NBA even proved when they were playing during the NFL season, or when football was on. Their finals on the same day.
Football still reigned king.
Crushed them.
That's just prevalent. That's America's sport.
Let's talk about that though, because the NBA is always owned. Well, not always, but for the majority of the last recent memory, the NBA has owned Christmas Day. They have. So with that, why not start your season there? As that, the alongside college football, NHL with their Winter Classic has really done a good job of owning New Year's Day.
Yes.
So why not start the season like that? If you imagine the NHL season starting off with the Winter Classic.
Actually, that would be really interesting. Especially you get like a classic matchup with Red Wings, Penguins.
So cool.
That'd be awesome.
Cool to see something like that.
That'd be really cool.
It's like taking what plays already in favor for your sport, and then starting your season like that. I love that idea.
Yeah, no, I really like that idea. I love holiday starts just in general. Absolutely. I think you get more eyes on your sport, and like you said, you still get to dominate your season, I guess, or your time of the year, because NBA would still get to finish in June, around there. NHL would still probably get to finish around probably sooner than that. They get their Stanley Cup, everything, but it gets highlighted and everything gets highlighted through the year. I hope a lot of it stays, at least some of these changes, not obviously keeping fans out of the stadiums, because that
sucks,
energy's
that hurts.
missed.
And it was missed. I think the thing, I was all during the bubbles for both the NBA and the NHL, I was all for it. Obviously, I want health and safety the number one concern for everybody. So I understand that. But what really hurt me, and it didn't really bother me because I still got to watch the games. That's all I truly cared about. It didn't really bother me until I saw the Stanley Cup hoisted and I saw the Larry O'Brien trophy given out to the players. And
and there was nothing.
And there was fake fan noise. That crushed me. And it sucks because these guys are hoisting the trophy over their head, freaking out. You know, they're at the top of their career. Like, some of those guys will never reach that again. So to see that, and in the NHL especially, they do this the skate around with the trophy, and the fans go crazy. And these guys are skating around with the trophy, and I'm looking at bleachers.
I know.
I know.
They didn't even want to show like the advertisements covering the seats.
So sad. And to see the Lakers team, I'm not even a Lakers fan in any way, shape, or form, but to see them, you know, play their butts off, and this year, even though it's forgotten, this year was dedicated to Kobe. I mean, like, for half the
big
season.
Time. No, well,
so
and
to
that
see
was
that,
that was so huge for the Lakers winning too.
And to see them raise the trophy, I was crushed for them, man. Like, they didn't get to do that. They didn't get to do that in front of their fans or in front of the opponent's fans. Like, that is a massive part of the game. So to see that, I was actually very disappointed.
Well, and it's very prevalent, I've noticed, in college basketball.
Yes.
Like where kids actually really only get their energy from their fans and from their fellow peers watching them in the stands. Like, that energy lost. It's incredible watching the Champions Classic right now.
Totally.
It's weird. It makes you wonder what's going to happen in the future of that. Guys, Broncos conversation coming up next. Lots of things coming up. Stick around. You're still listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.
You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.
And welcome back, guys. You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole. I'm Cole Smith, and joined, as always, by my partner, Josh Grismer. Man, we've got a lot of football to talk about. It's not all great news. And, man, between
it's
the
almost
two
all
of us,
bad news.
Between the two of us, we like, 5 teams? We avidly follow 5 total teams, roughly. And only one of the teams is on their way to the playoffs. Only
so
one
true.
of those teams.
Oh.
How is this possible? We avidly follow
1 for 5.
5 different teams.
That's bad, man. It's 20%.
Oh man, and this is going to be a little bit of a painful segment to talk about. Let's go ahead and begin. We got this. We're going to begin with the hometown favorite, Denver Broncos,
who have a big game against the Chiefs.
Massive game against the Chiefs. And I don't want to count Drew Lock out. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. What is it, 14.5?
I want to say it's 14.5.
That doesn't surprise me.
It
doesn't.
So
honestly,
sad,
it's better than the Jets that were 21.
Yes, you're right. You're right. They covered. They did cover.
They covered.
But it's so sad to, like, the Broncos. They're historically a great team.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the John Elways. You think about even the mid years with Jay Cutler. They weren't a bad team with Jay Cutler.
No, and
Jake
honestly,
Plummer. They weren't a bad team with Jake Plummer.
And that's why, like, the comparisons to those guys with Drew Lock, it was so promising, right?
Yeah.
It was really promising to see Drew Lock ripping it. He was a guy that he avidly talks about not being afraid to throw it in tight windows. And all of a sudden, he went from being that guy to the guy saying, I have no idea what's going to happen when I let go of the football. And sometimes he freaks out. He said that.
It's bad.
It's just one of I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I totally understand being a starting NFL quarterback is probably the hardest job, one of the hardest jobs to do.
We saw that firsthand last week.
We
saw that firsthand last week with Kendall Hinton and how
props to Kendall Hinton, by the way. That's
first
100%
of all, that dude
props.
can we say he has balls of steel? Am I allowed to say that?
I think
that
that's
dude
fine.
has guts. I mean, what he did, what he did is literally when every one of us couch potatoes is sitting on the couch saying, I could play better than Drew Lock out there.
I was a high school starting quarterback. I could play in the NFL.
We all just witnessed
a high school starting championship high school starting quarterback that did play college quarterback.
We all just witnessed what would happen if we did that.
That's exactly. And it honestly just proves that there is literally, you could count on both of your hands the amount of quarterbacks that can play in the NFL well.
Yeah. And
that's it.
My respect, and not that I didn't have respect for starting quarterbacks. I know that's the hardest job in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Fully
massive respect for anybody who does that.
But to see firsthand, especially because you and I live in Denver, so to see firsthand just how hard it is to be a starting quarterback when you have zero preparation, haven't played quarterback, haven't even been hit, he said, in 2 years. He has never taken an NFL hit. He's not been hit by an opposing player in 2 seasons, 2 years. So to see that and to see him go out and honestly play his heart out, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Look, I understand they lost. I understand he had more picks than complete. Whatever, dude. Take all that away.
That's
to line up out there.
Yeah, this is stuff out of a movie.
It is.
Like, line up the Disney Channel
logo.
logo.
The Philadelphia Eagles movie Invincible, where you're just a Joe Schmo that was working. He was working at some store a month ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago, he was not even playing football.
Yeah, and to see him do that is one of the coolest things I've seen this season. And so I was fully invested in this game. I watched the entire thing. It was painful to watch. I was very excited. I mean, I don't know why. The first 20 seconds of the game, I was like, he could do this.
I think
my expectations were high.
I even put a $5 bet on Kendall Hinton throwing over 100 yards because why not?
Yeah,
it was a wild bet, and I could have made money. I didn't make money, obviously, but it was one of those things that if that dude went off, and it was very possible, you never know. And honestly, it gives me more respect for Drew Lock and what he is doing with the Denver Broncos and the state of that offense right now. And it gives me hope for what he can do, because this is the part of the season, at least his rookie year, to where he started to light it up a little bit, right?
Yes, yeah.
He showed something. He went, 4-1 in his last 5 games. This was the point of the season where everybody said, oh, Drew Lock could be something next year. This is when we need to see it again. And man, it would not be any better to do it in his hometown in Kansas City and beating the Chiefs. Now, I know that's a tall order to ask, and I don't think beating the Chiefs is anywhere in the wheelhouse for the Denver Broncos. But if you could,
the Chiefs would have to not show up.
Oh,
that's how you beat them. They physically don't show up.
Patrick Mahomes would legitimately have to sit again in the fourth quarter. He would have to be benched by himself, probably.
No, he would have to stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have to stay home.
And it would not. But I just want the Broncos to be competitive.
And look,
I want Drew Lock to throw 200, maybe 300 yards, get a couple touchdowurs. If you throw an interception, just don't make it a bad. Make it like a bobbled up interception.
I don't want to see this. I don't want to see. Yeah, this is okay. What you just said. I don't want to see an interception from him that is a bad decision on his part.
Yes,
because I've seen so many bad interceptions from him this year, where he's literally throwing right to a cornerback or a safety, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? So to see that, I want to see if there is an interception or whatever. I want to see it being a tipped ball, like you said, or a deflection, or right through the receiver's hand, something like that, where it's not on him, because we need. Kansas City's strengths are not their defense. They don't have a bad defense, but their strengths are obviously offensive, okay? Yeah. So with that being said, the Broncos offense has a chance to put up points that's what I want to see.
But the thing is,
what I want to. I don't want to see an embarrassing loss on Sunday Night Football.
And that's just it. Like, just stay competitive. And and I'm going to even throw it back to Drew Lock's last start. He had an open tight end. Yeah. Nobody around this time. I can't even remember. I think it was Fant probably. And nobody was around this dude. And he sails the football 10 yards over his head.
That can't happen. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Me?
And look, let's talk about this really quick, because right now Brady is not even close to the top of his game. Okay?
Oh no, Brady's
and the Chiefs only beat them by 3.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. The Bucs are not a perfect comparison to the Broncos, but they struggled like the Broncos do in that last game.
And I agree. We're not going to compare Drew Lock to Tom Brady.
No, but game.
But let's say honestly,
what do you have? 5 interceptions, 3 interceptions, something like that. I mean, so
no. Well, and honestly, like, you look at the Buccaneers offense and you look at the Broncos offense. You take away their quarterbacks. They're very similar offenses.
So just saying that, I mean, the Bucs still only lost by 3. If the Broncos can make this a game, hey, if they lose by 7, I'm not saying take that as a win. but that'll build some serious confidence. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if it's a 28-21 game, I'm not mad about that. I'm
Oh,
not.
no,
I
big
just don't
time.
want to see 45-17.
Well, and I don't want to see it to where Patrick Mahomes is legitimately getting pulled before the fourth quarter even begins.
Yeah.
Like, that's embarrassing.
No, that's not
legitimately
good.
saying, hey, I'm going to tie one arm behind my
Yes.
back and let's see what you guys do.
That's what happens in high school games
Exactly.
where the team is up 66-10.
Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's
don't
not
let
good.
that happen again. And another embarrassing moment that I do want to bring up is my man Gardner Minshew. He's our man. Beowulf Gardner Minshew getting screwed. Man, he got screwed. And I didn't think about it beforehand, but this is why he did not want to report his thumb injury.
Is he fully healthy now? Like,
Yeah,
he's taken off the injury
I'm not
report?
100%, and I'd have to look at ESPN reporter for the
Okay.
Jaguars to double check. But he is reportedly still practicing. He's
Okay.
reportedly on the field, and this is all from I can't. Oh man, I got to find it. But ESPN reporter for the Jaguars.
Yep.
He's reported all this. He's back on the field, and
They're going with
Mike Glennon, and that just tells me that. Yeah, they could put Gardner Minshew in because let's face it, he is the better quarterback. I think people know that.
Yes.
It's just a matter of draft pick at this point. We're going on week what? 10?
Week 12.
Week 12.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know because the Steelers are 11-0, but I don't know if they've missed games
there's
or
a
anything
lot
like that.
there's
It's
a
like
lot of weird things
week 12,
going on.
week 13.
The odds of there being a week 18 are very likely anymore. I mean, who knows what week it is? Anyway, it's the end of the season. Nothing matters anymore. The Jaguars have won one game this year. If anything happens at all, it's going to be because Mike Glennon got lucky. And he's not going to get lucky against the Browns.
I had no idea how tall he was. He's 6'7".
Oh yeah, no, he's a tall dude. Honestly,
he could be a center.
And he's been a backup quarterback for a good point of his career, and he's made a career off that, and that's fine. But then you go into this next game where Jaguars are just they didn't get a break with their season at all.
No.
And that's what kind of sucks with all of this too. But again, Gardner Minshew getting the short end of the stick, and that just means.
And I feel for a guy like that because he kind of got his way into the NFL with an injury. So and he played well last year. Look, he had a better completion percentage than Kyler Murray last year. Better overall QBR.
Yes, yeah.
So with that, he's not a bad quarterback, and I fear for a guy like him who's not the high draft pick, who's not, considered the starter unless it's an interim job or whatever. I feel bad for that because they may take away his starting position for the rest of his career.
And honestly, his only hope of starting next year. Now, there will be a quarterback competition for the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew will be a part of that competition unless they trade him. Because he is worth draft stock. Because honestly, if I'm Denver, grab Gardner Minshew. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That's such a competitive quarterback with Drew Lock right now. But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
He outdueled the Broncos last year.
Exactly. But anyway, if Gardner Minshew does stay, he will get a chance at a quarterback competition. But the only way he doesn't automatically lose that job at some point throughout next year is if that other quarterback is not named Trevor Lawrence.
I agree with that 100%. And first of all, would that not be the best... how do I put this? The best hair tandem in the NFL.
Oh,
those
God.
guys have legendary hair.
No, it's you would have the
flow.
Southern
They're the flow bros.
you would have to go the Southern Bad Boys.
I don't even
of the
know.
NFL.
You just got Sunshine, Touchdown Jesus, whatever you want to call him, and then
you
Gardner
got
Minshew.
Beowulf Minshew and Sunshine Trevor Lawrence.
That's the best hair duo in the league.
Honestly, hands down, they're winning the fashion show every year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with their jorts and everything.
No, the jorts are winning any fashion show you rip them up to. But with that said, we all know the NFL is not a fashion show, and Jaguars are just completely on a rebuild right now.
They're really trying hard, along with the Jets, to just not win anymore.
And the Broncos, they're just trying not to get in that situation themselves.
No, they don't want to be. But also with and I don't ever want to tank. I don't ever want to say the Broncos are tanking or anything like that. But also right now with the needs that they have that are pretty darn prevalent and
start losing games, right? Say it.
I'm not.
Start losing games.
I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying,
Josh,
where they're
the Broncos
going,
need to start losing games.
Where they're going in the draft order, they're not going to get they need.
Draft pick.
They're not going to. You know what? No, I don't want to say that. I want to go to my team because you said we're 1-5 on the teams that are actually going to the playoffs.
Okay, you can't bring up the Steelers.
My original team.
Man.
I am born and partially raised now in Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where I was born.
So you lay claim to Steeler fandom.
I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I've been this is not new. I have been a diehard Steelers fan. If you looked at my room growing up, I have terrible towels. I have pictures signed by players. I have jerseys. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I love the Steelers. I did convert, and it was easy to convert because I moved here when the Broncos were good.
Yeah.
So it was easy to convert to be a Broncos fan, but originally I was a Steelers fan, and so my guys are 11-0. That's all I got to say right now. And playing well, they did. Unfortunately, it hurts so bad. They did just lose Bud Dupree to an ACL.
That's
man,
going to be huge.
Well soon. He and TJ Watt were some of the best sack duos in the league. That's going to make it harder for TJ Watt, who has, I think, 10, 11 sacks.
They were competing with Aaron Donald and the LA Rams.
Yeah, they were right neck and neck, which is an awesome comparison. That was so much fun.
But, man, with the Steelers, though, I can't give them the respect, man. I like that we switched from the bottom of the NFL to the top right now. But I can't. It's hard giving the Steelers the respect they deserve, especially. That's why I still put the Chiefs number one.
Totally. But do you know what I want to say real quickly? Is
Broncos.
Did they win?
You won, but you barely beat them.
11-0, baby.
You barely beat the Dolphins.
No, all I want to say is, with how good the Steelers' defense is this year, that's their strong suit right now.
Yeah.
I get it. Ben is old; he's getting older, and I understand that. But this team reminds me of the 2015 Broncos, where the defense is carrying you, and the old saying, "Defense wins championships." Look, I understand how good the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are, but if the Steelers can take a page from the Raiders, when the Raiders beat the Chiefs this year, and not allow Mahomes to get the ball, play the game clock management that they're very good at.
Yeah, Ben's great. That's actually his MO.
Super good at that. So with that being said, they could 2015 Broncos their way to the top. And I think they said out of the last 13 teams that have started 11-0, 11 of those 13 teams went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no.
So
hey, odds are in their favor, but like with stats like that, I agree with our buddy Mark Springer over at Altitude Sports Radio. That's always just means like that you're due. Someone's due to be on the other end of that statistic.
Totally.
And honestly, what I've always said is that, defense wins championships, but offense gets you there. And the Kansas City Chiefs have the offense.
They're so fun to watch.
They score at will.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, you ask anybody that follows the Chiefs avidly, unless you're scoring maybe 4 touchdowns, maybe even 5 touchdowns, you're not even competitive with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, and that's what's so, like, I've never been a Chiefs fan in my life. Actually, I've really hated them for a very long time.
I still hate the Chiefs.
But you cannot deny that when the Chiefs play, it's must-watch TV.
No,
I appreciate Hill having 203 yards in the first quarter of a game.
You got to appreciate good football.
Must-watch TV. I mean, it's so good. And if you're a football fan, like, you can't deny the greatness they are right now.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. And it's really cool to see. What I love to see, I'm really... My uncle's always said, when you're in the NFL or watching the NFL, you're just cheering for laundry.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I just love good football.
Oh,
I don't necessarily care who plays it.
That's just it. Like when it comes to playoff time, I'm going to hate that the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship, but I'm going to love that I get to watch Patrick Mahomes do his thing for 4 quarters on primetime TV. Like that dude, he's fun to watch football. He's John Elway. He's Tom Brady. He's Peyton Manning. He's Brett
got
Favre.
Like the body
he's Dan
style
Marino.
He's got the body style and play of John Elway where he's athletic.
Well,
but he's got the mind of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like this dude was built in a lab. Like I don't understand how good he is. I don't think he understands how good he is.
It's why he's the $500 million man. I mean, it's what you do.
Unbelievable.
He's bringing in that bag. It's going to be a great football season. I love what's coming up to the future. Obviously, we think it's Chiefs Steelers in the AFC Championship coming up.
Okay, but how fun would that be?
Oh, it'd be great. That's some good football. It's must-see football.
Those teams are going to be, I mean, honestly, at the very least, they're like, even if they lose out, they're going to be teams that are 12-4, 11-5, whatever. And that's if they lose out the rest of the season. Going into that, those are the powerhouses.
Well, my thing is the team that gets stuck with that trap game, playing that 8th seed or whatever, the 7th seed. That team might get screwed. Because it's only the
first place team that gets a bye this year.
So
that'll be something to watch.
Whoever gets that 2nd seed, they're going to get screwed a little bit during the playoffs. But we'll be back to talk about all that. We'll be back to break it all down. We got a lot of sports coming back, and we're back with you. Stick around. You're listening to Weekdays with Josh and Cole.